Tarzan and the Equalizer had a baby, this would be their baby. It's got that gritty feel, perfect origin story. When I watched like the first hour, maybe the first hour and a half, I was like, ooh, it's a what if Tarzan story. What if this was the origin story of the bad guy? You know, the guy that was supposed to marry Jane before Tarzan came along? That guy, I forgot his name. Clearly not that important. I think it's Clayton, could be wrong. Or maybe what if Tarzan wasn't abandoned by his parents and left to be raised by animals? What if he had human parents and they introduced him to this kind of lifestyle? And the reason I say the Equalizer is because it uses its weapons of disposal. If you've seen the Equalizer with Denzel Washington, you'll know what I mean. Like, that's kind of sickly, gory. Don't know how I sat through that. Murderous spree. That's how I describe if the Equalizer and Tarzan had a baby. This would be their baby. For me, as I've admitted in every single video I do about comic book movies, I don't read comic books. It's just not for me. I've tried, it's just not me. If you don't know your Spider-Man lore, that's perfectly fine. This doesn't need Spider-Man. You can see it as something far away from it. It doesn't feel like a comic book movie. Yes, it pays little nods to the Daily Bugle or little nods to sinister characters in the Spider-Man lore, but if you don't know them, don't stress. You'll just be like, ooh, I get to see what's next. I'm keen for this. The one thing that I did hate about this is the CGI is really obvious. I'm not even kidding. For a film released in 2024, like, why do you have like the graphics of early 2000s as if you're just discovering the use of green screen? Like, it's glaringly obvious. And I'm not even kidding. There's one scene that I'm like, hold on, this was reshot, wasn't it? Like, there was no way this was done on the day of actual filming. This had to be a reshoot, because I was watching it and Calypso, this is not against the actress, this has got to be something to do with editing, because Calypso, in one particular scene towards the end, it does not look like the actress is there. It looks like they had a stand-in and they had dots around the mouth or they had dots around the face, because like her lips go in one direction and her face is another direction. Like, I'm like, that's that. Like, you did not have the actress there, did you? Like, that what is happening? That does not feel right. It just feels too robotic and too like edited for it to be a human being. Most of the scenery, again, you look at it and you're like, there's no way your actual scenery, it just feels too heavily digitalized for you to be a legit backdrop. Some scenes make sense because, like, obviously you can't have your actor jumping from a plane. This isn't Tom Cruise, this is Aaron Taylor Johnson. But like, there's some moments you're like, this is literally just standing in a hotel room. Why does it feel like it's green screened? So there are moments where you just sitting there going, dude, fix your CGI, fix your green screen. This is not the early 2000s, this is not the 1990s, this is the 2020s. You can do better than this. We know technology can do better than this. It just, I did love the animals though. I mean, I didn't like the animal cruelty scenes because this whole story is about poaching. So you do see like the horns cut off, you do see animals being killed. So if you are anti-poaching, probably don't watch this. The upside is the story is very heavily anti-animal poaching, but very pro-human poaching. I mean, we all love a bit of human poaching, don't we? We've all discovered that with the CEO of healthcare. I mean, I'm against poaching, full stop. That's a human life right there, guys. Subtles. Overall, I liked this. I don't understand why people are hating it. I can see elements of why people hate this. I mean, for the first hour, maybe hour and a half, it is very little English. I'm assuming it's Russian. I'm assuming it's somewhere foreign that I'm not familiar with, because for about the first hour, roughly, very little English, and you are forced to read subtitles. So if you don't like subtitles, this won't be for you. So the accents are there, the non-English language is there, very prominently keyed. But overall, it's a fine movie. The animal cruelty, again, I can see why people are going to hate that. I had no issues with it. There are characters in there that I'm like, I want to know more about that. Who's this doctor? There are also characters that I look at and I'm like, are you X-Men? I mean, I got bored watching the X-Men movies. I haven't made a chance. I think I've seen the first 1, 2, 3. It's just not for me. So I'm like, oh, that character reminds me of Quicksilver. But it's not Quicksilver. But I want to know who you are. I also want to know who this doctor is. I also want to know where Dimitri goes from this. So I do hope that there is more to Kraven the Hunter, because there is a lot more to explore. Just maybe up your game with the CGI, yeah? Because it's the 2020s, baby, so fix your CGI. And I have watched movies that are 1990s and their CGI is still perfect, so what's your excuse? But overall, I liked it. I didn't have an issue with it. You don't need to know your Spider-Man lore. You do just need to be able to handle animal cruelty. You do need to handle implied graphicness of violence, which again, another thing, the Equalizer does it better. But why does your blood splatter look like it was just like with CGI? Like, it's obviously fake. Get a little more better, darling, okay? So that those moments where you're just like, dude, I get it. You don't want to put your actors in harm's way, but like, clearly you had fun with like special effects and you didn't fix them properly. Again, I've watched enough movies where there has been graphic violence and they've done it a lot better. So you definitely need to fix a lot of things. And this movie had how many delays? This movie had so many reshoots or something along those lines. Like, you had your time to process a lot for Kraven the Hunter. So what's your excuse? We are the 2020s, okay? And I say this as somebody who's been watching movies for the past 30 years. We can do better. Yeah? Cool. Good. Sounds so patronizing, but it's great. I like the storyline. I'm curious. I hope there is more. I just hope you fix a lot of things for the next time out. But yeah, I think I've said my piece for the past 7 minutes, so I'm going to leave it at that.